Without any stop, 1,000 words, start. Sir, today in our country, the biggest problem which requires solution at the top level and in the most urgent manner is the problem of population explosion. We are all aware that we are adding one Australia to India every year so far as increase in our population is concerned. In spite of our tremendous agricultural output, I do not think by 2000 AD we will be able to match the growth in our agricultural production with the exploding growth of population. And so far as the availability of houses, schools, and other amenities which are required for our population is concerned, we will be lagging far, far behind. Even today, most of our economy and most of our budget allotment caters for building up infrastructure facilities only. This has resulted in stagnation of development of our country. I would suggest to the Honorable Minister some of the points which may go a long way to make our country or our society more aware of the necessity of controlling the population and making the family planning program of the government a success. My first suggestion is that society's involvement should be more intensified. Today, most of the family welfare and family planning programs are being made, executed, and monitored by the government. My suggestion is that more and more non government social organizations should be involved. The biggest hurdle in our country today is religion. Somehow we are still suffering a phobia of having a son, and in the search for a son, people produce a string of girls. Not that the girls are not welcome, but this is the philosophy of some of the religions. There are some religions where use of family planning devices is being condemned. There are some religions where abortions are supposed to be anti-religious. So far as our villages are concerned, the family planning movement definitely desires to be intensified. Today, the rural areas are more urban oriented. We are having more family planning movements in the urban areas where the rich, the upper middle, and the middle class live. We all know that in this class of society, people have taken family planning seriously and successfully so far as the family planning movement is concerned. But in villages, we still require the necessity of having this movement intensified. The basic reason is that so far as poor people are concerned, the poor people living in the urban areas, they think that having a large number of children is an economic boon. If a laborer has 5 small children aged 10 or 12 years, they can start working as domestic help in the houses of rich, upper, middle, and middle class people. By doing so, they bring some money, and the house where they go and work, there they get free food, the second hand clothes, and so on. So economically for a poor family, that much number of children is not a burden because they neither get education nor they have any standard to look for. So there should be some movement started by the Family Welfare Department itself in collaboration with other ministries under which the children of poor should be looked after and they should be given employment. The Honorable Minister has stated that one person from each family will be given employment under the scheme which has been incorporated as per this year's declaration. This program must be intensified with a view to giving them more respectful and proper employment. So far as education is concerned, I think the education ministry is not doing their bit as much as they can do. It has been found that even in some states of our country where the literacy percentage is very high, like Kerala, the population has been much better controlled. The result of family planning movement has been much better in those states in our country where education has been intensified at the primary and middle levels, particularly the education of women. So far as our rural areas are concerned, the stress on education is not as much as it should be. So far as women are concerned, it is because women can play a much more predominant part in controlling the population rather than men. In the end, I will suggest that as the environment is becoming better for making the family planning program a success, we should also give the family planning program the seriousness it deserves in our budget. But I am sorry to say that in the entire budget document, there is not even a single line about family planning program. When we are spending so much of money to look after the poor, the unemployed, their housing problem, their education, their medical care, their all sorts of equipments, oblig requirements, can't we spend some money to ensure that the population of the poor people who have become a liability of the government should be contained? Mr. Deputy Speaker, Sir, I express my gratitude to the honorable members for expressing their views regarding the demands for grants for the year 1989-90 for the Ministry of Agriculture. It is a matter of gratification that most of the honorable members have appreciated and have expressed their satisfaction regarding the working, the achievements, and future planning of the Ministry of Agriculture. In the budget for 1988-89, the plan outlay for 1988-89 had been fixed at rupees 700 crores, whereas for this year it has been raised to rupees 800 crores, which is definitely more than the amount of the previous year. In this connection, the honorable members have made a mention of a number of schemes. They have demanded special programs to be introduced in their respective areas. Provisions have been made in this budget. This budget provides for assistance for land reforms, for the distribution of fertilizers, assistance to farmers, or for increasing oilseeds production. I want to draw the attention of this esteemed House to certain points which have not been discussed so far last year.